So, sometimes at the school games, someone comes up to me, usually a young person, and says, "Hey man, what do you think I should do? I could do this, I could do this, I could do this." And I always just say to them, "What do you want to do?" And they're like, "What?" They're like, "That doesn't matter." And I'm like, "No, that does matter." And they're like, "No, man, like this other thing, I should do this other thing." And I'm like, "Well, if you think you should do this other thing so badly, why are you asking me?"
Because they know deep down.
And so I often say, like, if you were to just listen to your heart, like, what does that tell you to do? And they're often like, "Oh, do this." And there's like this sigh of relief. And then I'm like, "Well, why don't you just do that?" And then they're often like, "Oh, but. And I'm like, "All right, man, fuck this." It might start a little slower than just doing the thing that someone might pay you instantly for.
Yep.
But it will make you so much more money longer term.
Yep.
Because you actually love it. So it will be unique and it will compound over time and you'll stick to it over the long term.
Yeah.
Wait, did you catch that? This is Sam Ovens, the founder of consulting.com, which is a company that turned over tens of millions per year, and now founder of school.com, which is one of the biggest community platforms on the planet. And that company alone has given him a net worth of over $1 billion. And he just said that you should do what you want to do, which is odd, right? And the reason why this is odd is because this is one of the most misunderstood pieces of advice in business. Most people either take it way too literally and then, genuinely become broke, or they reject it completely and they end up completely miserable and stuck, like I did. So in this video, I want to talk about how you can follow your passion the right way so that you can actually make money with it and also feel fulfilled while doing it. And by the way, bro, my name is Belman Valk, and I make these videos in order to inspire and pave the way for the younger me. The version of me that was stuck in college, had no idea what to do, but still felt this hunger for more. And eventually I followed this hunger and I was able to, start an online business. I was able to make my first $10,000 with freelance copywriting. And then I was able to even generate hundreds of thousands with a marketing agency, but I still felt stuck and unfulfilled. And that's a big reason why I'm making these videos. So you can avoid all the pitfalls that I made and actually build a life that is worth living for you. And obviously, passion is a big part of this. So let's break it down. So you've probably heard a lot of other influencers, business people say how you should not follow your passion. Your passion is going to make you broke and all that kind of stuff. And I completely believed and embodied that mindset. But unfortunately, what happened to me is that I would completely block out anything that I was, really passionate about, and I would just focus on money. And very often, the people that are telling you this are also putting money as the main driver. So what happened to me is I kind of fell into a trap where I was chasing money, and then eventually, I'm not saying that it was like the best business in the world, absolutely not. But I did create a multiple six-figure marketing agency. But personally for my life, nothing really changed. And I ended up feeling extremely stuck and unfulfilled. And to be honest with you, completely miserable. Because I built something that I just hated, right? Essentially, I built a prison for myself. That's why this video from Sam, it just struck the nail so hard. It just spot on for me, right? And I'm hoping that it does for you as well. But I was literally that guy. And even when I decided to leave the agency and was like, I'm going to start on my own, I made the exact same mistake. I was like, okay, I have these options in front of me. This is the option that I actually really want to do. This is the other option that theoretically is supposed to make me more money. Okay, I'm going to go with this option that is going to make me more money because hell, I need to make money. And it ended up being an absolutely terrible mistake. And unfortunately, it took me another couple of months of failures and hardship and stupid time waste to realize that. And eventually I came around, I hit a rock bottom where I really had to sit with myself and be like, what is going on? Why am I feeling so heavy? Why am I feeling so drained and I don't know, confused? And it just turned out that I had not been honest with myself and I made the wrong decision. Instead of centering or focusing on my passion, let's say, I focused on money. I made the exact same mistake and I ended up in, a place that I didn't want to be. Luckily, this time it took me only a couple months and not like years, but still, literally, that's when I made the decision to make this channel. And that's when I started making these videos. And you can literally go to the first video of this channel, and that's exactly what I'm talking about in that video. And that's when, like, the day after I made the decision to make this channel, and when I watched this video, literally. So if you want to see that in real time, you can just like click somewhere here. You can watch that video. It's a little bit raw, so be prepared. But yeah, that being said, of course, following your passion is not the only thing that you should be thinking about, right? Obviously, you need to make a living. Obviously, you need to make money, and you need to provide for whoever it is that you need to provide for, right? Maybe you want to take care of your parents. Maybe you already have a girlfriend or a wife that you need to take care of. Maybe you have already kids. You need to be responsible. So passion is one part of it, but obviously it's not the only part of it. So let's talk about how you can actually follow your passion while being responsible and actually making money as well. I talked about in the beginning how a lot of people, they go through two complete extremes, right? On the first extreme, they quit their job and they go completely all in on the whatever their passion is. Maybe like they have a software engineering job, but they actually want to be an actor, so they like quit their job, they move all the way to LA to be an actor. They have no income whatsoever, no plan what to do, and they land up on the street doing heroin. And obviously, this is a very extreme example, but you get the point. Obviously, that is not how you should do it. But then on the other end, you have this completely logic thing where this thing is the thing that is going to make me logically the most money. I have the most highest chances according to the statistics. So this is what I'm going to do, even though I absolutely hate it. That's the other part of it. And then you're like a super billionaire, whatever. And then you're like, fuck, what did I do with my life? That's the other part of the equation, right? Obviously, you don't want to be either of those. You want to be in the middle where you're able to follow your passion, but you're also able to make a very, very comfortable living from it. Heck, even like be rich from it. So let's talk about like a more practical way to approach this, right? And I want to also mention how this approach does not come completely from me. I am learning just as you are. And this video from Sam, I highly recommend you watch it after watching this video. I'll put it as first link in the description because it was so powerful. And the way Sam explains this is you should follow your passion. However, you need to be careful in like how you select the market or industry, because there's many different shapes and forms to follow your passion, right? And I'll give the example from Sam because he is extremely passionate about computers, yet he is, on paper at least, a billionaire. But I know that you know that there's a lot of other people that are very passionate about computers. They're not a billionaire. How did this happen? And the reason why is because Sam recommends that you pick your passion in a field that has higher earning potential. So instead of like becoming an IT guy, Sam created a software that is extremely valuable to a very, very large amount of people, which is why he was able to get the money that he has. But let's take another example. Let's say, for example, you are interested in fitness. Now, you could become a PT and follow your passion for fitness, right? And a lot of people do that and they start that way. But is that going to make you rich? Very likely it's not. You know, there's a very, very limited amount of money you can make with personal training. You can do very well, 100%. You can do very well, but there's a ceiling. Now, if you go into online coaching, for example, for fitness, then the earning potential is extremely high. It's the same thing, but it's just like slightly different. This is how you want to approach following your passion. There are many different ways to follow your passion. And I recommend you are very intentional with that and you don't just stop at the first thing that comes to mind. I do think that it's a good idea to just start somewhere for sure, but don't think that this is the complete only thing that you can ever do by following your passion, right? There's many different things that you can do. And I want to give another perspective as well, because imagine you genuinely want to be an artist or a music producer or an actor or whatever. You genuinely want to become that and you're very sure of that. You have considered other paths, but you're just not interested in those other paths. Imagine that you are that person. Then I would say 100% you can do it. But again, you need to be responsible about this. You cannot just quit your job, move to LA and expect to be a fucking Hollywood star in like 6 months. Like, that's not going to happen. Personally, like looking back from all the experience that I've gained now, if I were to have a son, or if I had that passion, what I would do instead is I would either find a job that allows me to also pursue that other dream, right? So you just get a 9 to 5, but try to find a 9 to 5 that kind of allows for the location, the time freedom, et cetera, that also makes it possible for you to chase the other dream. Just try to mimic the thinking. You're still getting a stable income. You're still getting like a 9 to 5 or whatever, but you're allowing yourself on the side to also pursue that other passion of yours, right? And being able to pursue that other passion, that other dream that you have, will make it easier for you to do the 9 to 5, because you know that because you do the 9 to 5, you have the ability to chase that passion, to chase that dream, right? Because some of these things, they take a lot of time. They take years, could even take a decade or more, if you actually read into stories from what I've heard. So you need to be extremely patient and you need to be realistic. So with that, I would suggest you just go into that direction, right? Try to have that approach to it. Now, another thing that you could do is you could find a job within the industry. This is actually something that I often recommend. And I can tell you a story about this because one day my girlfriend came to me and she said, "Hey, I'm thinking of investing like $5,000 into this Airbnb course," right? And I mean, I understand like you can be passionate about something, but that's could be a quite rash decision if you're just a complete beginner. That's why I said like you've considered all the other options and you're extremely sure. If you're going to sacrifice a decade of your life, you need to be fucking sure that you want it. And that's why I would give this piece of advice as well, because what I told her is, instead of now investing this $5,000 into this program that will help you, build this Airbnb business or whatever, why don't you first try to get a job within the Airbnb space so that you can actually see if you like it or not? Because she had never done anything like that before. She just had a interest towards it, right? So eventually she ended up not investing in the course, and through coincidence, she actually wound up helping as an assistant for another Airbnb manager. And through doing that, she actually found out like this is perhaps not what I want to do. So that was kind of a sign for her, like, maybe this is not the direction I want to go in. And eventually she just ended up doing something else, which is way more in the direction that she's actually passionate about. But if she had just invested that $5,000 and then invested months or even years trying to build that Airbnb business, she would have spent thousands and thousands of dollars, years of her life into something that she didn't end up wanting in the first place. So that's another piece of advice that I really recommend, is try to find a job within the industry that will give you an impression of, do you actually want to pursue this? Do you actually want to commit your life to this? So yeah, that kind of sums up my advice. I know I kind of went all over the place a little bit, but the main point I want to make is that it is possible to follow your passion and to still make a comfortable living from it, but you just need to do it responsibly, and you need to be intentional in what job role do you choose, and you need to be aware that there's many different options. It's not just one thing. It's not just like I'm going to be a singer or whatever. That's not your only option. If you're passionate about singing, there are many different things that you can do to follow that passion, right? That's what I want to make clear in this video. And by the way, man, if you have no idea what to do and you feel kind of lost, and you want to make money online, or you want to follow your passion or something, but you just have no idea where to start, then I know exactly how you feel, because that's exactly where I was at when I was 18, when I was in college. And I ended up making a bunch of very stupid decisions. And what I've noticed, the most important thing about all of this is that you create a very clear vision for yourself, and you take daily consistent actions, and you have a group of people that helps keep you accountable on a daily basis. And that is exactly what my community Disciples does. So if this is something that you have need of, if you feel clueless on where to go, and to be honest, you feel kind of lonely on this journey because you have this hunger, but nobody else around you has this hunger. Nobody else around you is thinking like, how can I make money online, or how can I like really chase my dreams? Nobody is writing down their goals, or you're the only one. That feels odd, and you don't really know, who to talk to. What I would tell you is go to the link in the description and join the community. There's a 7-day free trial, and the subscription is quite cheap right now because I'm still building everything out. It's still in the beginning phases, but the accountability is real. The effects of what I call like the 10K habit system is real. So if you are that person, I feel you. And that's exactly why I made that community in the first place. So feel free to check it out. Link is in the description. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for you today, man. Like, if you enjoyed this video, consider watching this one, the one I talked about in the beginning, where this may be the reason why life has felt extremely heavy for you and why you feel confused. Watch that video. I think it can really clear things up for you, okay? Yeah, anyway, then I'll see you in the next one, okay? Peace.